Hi, welcome to the workshop, the webinar, Getting Started with Online Education. I'm Josh Weiss. I am the Instructional Technologist at the BAC, and today we're going to take a look at the first few steps to working with our learning management system, which is called Moodle. Let me show you the agenda for what you can expect to see and get done with today. So we're going to work on three main things: overview, navigation, and content creation. Within each of those, within the overview area, I'll be talking about the technical requirements. That is to say what kind of internet speed you should be having before getting started with Moodle. Also what browsers to have and what state they should be in. The support services, I'll be talking about at the very beginning, one of which are these workshops, but there's other support services as well. We'll then take a look around the interface. I'll guide you around the basic pieces you'll need to know to get started, and then I'll walk you through some content creation, specifically how to start setting up your course, the uploading of images and text and documents, and then at the end I'll give you a little bit of time to kind of see what Voicethread is all about, which is an online based PowerPoint that also has collaborative abilities. It's kind of like a more powerful PowerPoint in some ways. So I'll show you that at the end, and then I will give you some options at the end for how to further your technical understanding of these pieces. I'm not going to do a whole lot of how-tos. I'm going to do just kind of some cursory guides, but I will point you to the places that will give you the more depth, step-by-step how-tos for each of these pieces. Okay, so we'll get started with the overview, and I'll take off my webcam now so you can have a better view of the screen. So your first step when you're getting started is to find the website here. If you go to online.the-bac.edu, it'll take you to this page here. You'll enter your username and password. If you haven't already gotten that, you can go to the help desk here. So once you have entered your username and password, you click to log in. You'll see something like this when you enter. Right now, the state of the site is we have some site news. You'll see this first. Sometimes there's not site news. And then you'll see down here your course overview. You'll notice the basic features of this is it's kind of like a set of classrooms in the sense that your individual classes will show up down here, but they're all hosted within this website. So before I use the term learning management system, or LMS is a shorter way that I'll phrase it from now on. An LMS is a website like we see here where all of your courses and all of the BAC courses are all hosted. It's private. You have to log in to get into it, and we can kind of we can adjust the visuals as well in some ways, the layout of the courses. But for the most part, it's predetermined, the visual layout of this. So let's take a look at the technical requirements you'll need. I'll actually navigate to the piece that you can look at later on that I'll be referring to during our training here. If you go into Needs Help, I just clicked up here in the top left-hand corner. If you go into Needs Help and you go down to Getting Started, so I'll talk about technical requirements, but I want to show you where this information can be referred to later on. If you enter Getting Started from that previous screen and you click on Technical Requirements, here's the information here. So I'll go over real quick, but this is where you can refer to it later on. So for BAC Education Technologies, you really should be using one of these browsers, either Chrome, Firefox, or Safari. Internet Explorer is not compliant with a lot of education technologies. There's quite a few problems you may run across, so it's not recommended to use it. You can try, but if you come across problems, it might be the browser. So it's a good habit to just kind of use these. Internet Explorer also has quite a few security problems. It's good to kind of maybe distance yourself from that browser until they get those problems fixed, which is not going to happen in the foreseeable future. For best performance, you do want to have for your internet connection 10 megabytes a second download, 3 megabytes a second as upload. If you're not sure what you are working with right now, you can go to this website here and it'll tell you. And finally, if you're going to use Voicethread, which is that PowerPoint that I mentioned, that collaborative online-based PowerPoint feature that I'll show you later on what it looks like, but if you do want to use that, you should have Adobe Flash version 11.1 or later. As far as support services, we're kind of in one of them right now in that we are in the Needs Help Center. So from anywhere in the whole website, you can click on this up here called Need Help, and it'll take you to this, which we've seen briefly before. For instructors in the position of kind of getting started with online learning, probably the most essential pieces for you are going to be in the frequently asked questions subsite here, or the getting started guide over here. So we'll enter this again just to kind of take a look at this. And if you'll notice, most of what we're going to talk about today is actually outlined in this over here. So you can feel free to look back at this later on, and it'll expound further upon some of the features that we've talked about today. So that's a really essential navigation piece. If you have other questions and you need some support services, and you don't feel like going through a text guide or the videos that accompany it, you can do a few other things as well. If you need live help, you can go up here, need additional help, and click on the Online Course Support Center. And that'll take you out to this over here. So you can get phone support from Monday through Friday, 9 to 9. You can email them if you have questions about why am I getting an error message on this screen, my login is not working, things like that. You can click here and get answers for that. In addition, if we go back into the Needs Help Center over here, at the bottom of most pages inside the Needs Help Center, as well as the bottom of the main part here, there's always the contact information for Moodle training. So if you have an initial question about how do I get past this technical piece, it's probably a good idea to first check out the guides and then talk to these folks over here. But if you still want some one-on-one training, this is the third place to go. This is for one-on-one training, workshops, webinars, and that kind of thing. We can also answer some emails as well and give you some ideas, although the responding time for this may not be as quick as the response time for this. So I would go to this as live support first. Great, so that's basic support features. Let's talk a little bit about navigation. So we've done some essential navigation already in that we've looked at some of the support. Let's look at the navigation for the site overall and for your course as well. So up here you'll notice what's called a breadcrumb trail, and it is what it sounds like. For each step you take within the website, within the hierarchy of the website, it adds an additional space over here, and if you want to go back to where you before, you follow back on the breadcrumb trail to where you want to go and click on that screen. So if I want to go back to my home screen that I saw initially, I click there and it takes me back to this. To take me back to this home screen anywhere on the website, I can also click on the icon up here. As you've probably noticed, most websites on the internet do that as well. If you click on the icon on the top left, it'll take you back. So let's go into your course and take a look at that a little bit, and maybe even a little bit of content creation. So if you are starting out, there's a couple of versions of your course you might see. It depends on what you'll see. You might see what we call a shell, which is a undeveloped course, no content, or you might see a course that already has some content loaded in. It will really depend upon what the iteration of your course looked like previous to this iteration. That is to say, if there already was a layout set up, if there already was content uploaded. Let me show you what these two versions can kind of look like in a general sense. So if you are starting fresh, that is to say your course doesn't have any previous iterations, there, for the most part you will see a screen that looks like this, right? So there's no content over here. The blocks are set up for the most part over here. If you have a previous iteration already in your course, you will see content loaded and maybe even the layout set up a little bit. It could look something perhaps like this if you're doing a fully online course. It could look something like this, a version of this. And if it's a non-fully online course, it could look like a version of this as well. Now notice these layouts are a bit different for each, but it could look something like this as well. So let's go back to the My Home course, and let's take it from the scenario, the most likely scenario if you're watching this right now with getting started with online education. You're probably starting with something that looks pretty fresh. So I'll assume it looks something like this, and we'll work out of here. So let's look at a little bit of the basic navigation throughout your course page, and then some basic content creation features. And then later on, I'll give you some resources for where to develop a deeper understanding of the step-by-step for each of these features within the interface. So, and whenever you want to create any content in your course, the first thing you always need to do is select Turn Editing On up here. So I'm going to click that, and the screen kind of morphs a little bit. And some things you'll notice now is you'll notice there'll be directional arrows for things you can drag around. You will notice there is something called edit over here, which gives you options for configuration if you want to hide it from students, if you want to move it or delete it, that kind of thing. And perhaps most importantly, what you'll notice is add an activity or resource. So when you want to add content, this is 9 times out of 10, this is where you're going to go. So let's take a look at what it would look like to add an image to a course, for example. If you wanted to add a PDF document or just a visual, a diagram, for example. You would click on add an activity or resource within the week that you want to add it to. So I want within this first week, which is dated June 1st to June 7th for this semester anyway. For the semester we're concerned with here, which is the summer semester. I will go within this week and go to add an activity or resource. I get a big list of what kind of resource I want to add. You can look through these later on in the Need Help Center. There's various tutorials what each of these are. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory. If you just want to upload a visual file, a PDF, something basic like that, you're going to click on File and Add. And what will come up is a configuration screen. So I'm going to say, this is from week 1, so I'm going to title week 1, I'm going to say diagram. If I want to, I can add a better description later on for that. And let's see, for just preliminary description, I'll say, please see this diagram and comment and be prepared to comment during lecture on Friday, 9/21. Great. So we can decide if we want to display this on the course page or not. Yeah, sure, I'll display this on the course page so students can see this information on that main page. And down here is where we're going to add our file. We just click on it, go to choose a file, and find whatever we want within our computer here. So I'm going to go down and just click on some image, just for the sake of adding an image, and upload this file. Okay, so it is uploaded so far. We still need to save, so we'll click Save and Return to Course. And it shows up like this in the course. If a student sees it, they won't see it with the editing on, they'll see it with the editing off. So to give a realistic view of what a student would see, is they would see something like this. Okay, so this is something we've added already, but this is what we just added. And if a student looks here, they can see that message we kind of put there before, and they can click on it, and they will be able to see the content right there. So that's the essential pieces of content creation. As far as just uploading images, we could substitute that with a PDF, with a Word file, whatever you want really. You can use that, that system we just used by clicking Add an Activity or Resource, and then File, and then add the activity that way. So that's the basic pieces right there for adding essential pieces as far as uploading. If you want to add text to your course, there's a few things to know, so we'll go back and click on Turn Editing On. If you want to add text within the week here, which some teachers want to do to kind of give a preface to what the week will be about, you're actually going to click this gear right here. And it'll open up right here. So I'm just going to write a brief preface for what this week is about. So I might write objectives, and I might write objective A, objective B, objective C for the week. And maybe I'm going to talk about outcomes for the week, outcome A, outcome B, and outcome C as well. Maybe I even want to, at the end here, say what the assignments are to be aware. So be aware that your essay is due at the beginning of next class, 9/18. So I can place that there and save changes, and it will show up within the week like this. So students will see what the objectives are for the week. For example, students will be able to understand the principles of sustainable design. Students will be able to understand how sustainable design applies to structural theory. You can add those objectives here. And outcomes for the week, that might sound something like students will produce an essay about this aspect of sustainable design, so what actually students will be producing that week. And then here are the activities showing up over here. If we turn editing off to give an idea of what students will see when they enter the week, they'll see something like this. So that's a basic outline of what it will look like to add features here and there. I'd like here at the end, with a few minutes at the end here, I'd like to show you what Voicethread looks like and how Voicethread works. So Voicethread is a interactive PowerPoint. It's asynchronous in that it can be accessed anytime, anywhere. It's not live necessarily, but it is organic in the sense that it can grow over time. Let me show you what this looks like, and then I'll refer you to the guide for that as well. So I'm going to go back to our main course page over here, and I'm going to go down to a course that already has a bit of these things set up. Okay, so this course already has quite a few things. I'm going to go, my VoiceThread is within week 1 lesson. I click there, and here's my VoiceThread. So let's take a look at what students would see when a VoiceThread is fully set up.
Welcome to week 1 of Sustainable Communities. My name is Margarita Iglesias, and I am your instructor and course editor.
So right now what we're seeing is pretty simple. It's just an uploaded PowerPoint, but the real power inside of VoiceThread is that you can add comments and they can live online with the document itself. So instructors and students can add comments at any time simply by clicking one of these, whether it's just a basic audio comment. You can do webcam comments as well, so that students can see your face while you're giving the comment. And your screen, your webcam capture will show up over here as well, which is kind of cool. It's kind of a non-live lecture, I guess you could say, with the visuals over here and the comments directed over here. Students can add to this as well if you give them permission to do so, and those conversations can grow and grow and grow to where they're more of a collaborative discourse more than just a single lecture. Students can navigate through here. It is a slideshow format in the model of PowerPoint as well. Videos can be uploaded, and they can be commented on. Things can be doodled on while you're talking. It's a pretty powerful tool as far as simulating a live lecture environment, but recorded so the students can access and comment on it later on. Great, so let me show you where to access more tutorials and more guides for these features over here. So if we go back into the Need Help Center, we're going to find over here training resources and tutorials under Instructor Resources. This is where all the tutorials are held. So we're going to click there, and from there we can navigate into one of two places. Up here are the broken down features and guides, which I'll talk about in a second, and down here are the YouTube videos, which are actually embedded inside of these guides, but if you want to see them independently just on our YouTube channel, you can do so. So if you click on this here or on this here, it will take you out to our YouTube channel, and you can check out our playlists, which have the same titles as you'll see back in the Course Resource Center. So let's go back in here. So today we were talking about getting started, and our conversation today largely reflects what's over here. There's a few more things, and they definitely go into greater detail. This is probably a great place to go back into and try and dig into more ideas. For example, if you really want to get more accustomed with VoiceThread, you click on this here, and you'll see a video pop up as well as a link out to the Voicethread for Faculty guide. So you can get a little idea over here, and if we even click on that here, it'll pop us out to a Voicethread for Faculty guide, and we can learn about creating, commenting, assigning, sharing, and all of these features of VoiceThread. So that's kind of a great thing to have. Additionally, I would highlight that if we go back into Needs Help and you don't want to navigate through the course guide, you want to go straight to a feature. If you want to go straight to learning about a feature like VoiceThread, for example, go back to Training Resources and browse by over here. So before we selected by guide, you can also browse by features. So you can look through what you want to learn more about. For example, we talked about file upload today. If you want to focus on that more, see some more in-depth tutorials, you can click on here. If you want to learn more about, for example, interface navigation. That's something we went over quite quickly today. If you want to see that more in depth, you click on it here, and we'll take you out to a video that will kind of elaborate a bit upon some of the ideas we had today. Great, so hopefully that helped you out a bit for getting started. If you need some help going forward, we are going to have some workshops. We obviously also have these support features that I mentioned at the beginning. You have the online course support center, you have the needs help center, which you can access at any time for videos and tutorials. And finally, you have the Moodle training at the BAC as a third resource if you want to talk to us about one-on-one training or about group trainings. So you have those options there as well. I would encourage, if you have a chance, to check out the workshops and webinars subpage here. If you click on it, it will take you out to a more extensive understanding and explanation of all of the workshops we have. They can change. This is a great place to check into maybe every month or two and see if anything has been added as well. So far, these are what the workshops will look like going through the beginning of October. We'll have these offered. And if you want to attend, please do fill out this form here, especially for things that are done online. We have an online web conferencing client that we have to invite people into by using their emails. So you can't just show up. You have to tell us ahead of time, and then we can give you the permission. So please do sign up here, and then we can send you the permission and the invitation, I should say, after that. So I hope that helps a little bit. If you need any further support, please send to Moodle training at the BAC, check out Online Course Support Center, or see our tutorials within the Need Help Center. Thank you very much.